Hi, my name's Dan Woodley and I'm a senior sculptor here at Madame Tussauds. My job primarily involves sculpting heads for wax figures and also involves signing off work throughout other departments such as eyes and eyebrows, hairlines and colouring. E.T. was quite an unusual figure for me. As you can imagine, he's quite different to most of the figures that we sculpt here. The main challenge I think was the fact that in essence I'm sculpting something that another artist has sculpted as opposed to sculpting a real person. Normally when you sculpt a person you're interpreting them in your own way. In this case I'm actually interpreting the work of another artist. Obviously I wanted to stay as faithful as possible to Carlo Rambaldi's original work and try and capture the essence of the creature that he created. So the first part of the process is gathering reference. In the case of E.T., we mostly worked from film footage and from stills taken from the film. We also managed to source some behind-the-scenes making of books and references which are very helpful to give us different angles that you might not necessarily see in the footage. Once we have enough reference, we start sculpting the figure in clay. We use a metal armature inside to support the weight of the clay, and then the clay's built up around the armature up to the final size and form, and then we continue working into it, adding detail and gradually building the whole thing up to the final finish. During this process we have quite a lot of critiques, which just enables us to make sure that we're on track and that we're not straying away from the subject. Once the sculpting's completed, it moves down to the moulding department. This figure was moulded in silicone, rubber and fiberglass, and then the final product's cast up, which then needs to be cleaned up, mould lines removed. The eyes need to be removed so that glass eyes can be inserted. Once the figure's left the moulding department, it moves through to the colouring department and is coloured using oil paints which are built up in layers to give a translucent skin-like effect. Again, the colourists use the reference that's been previously gathered to match the colours as accurately as possible to the original. Once the head's been coloured, the eyes are inserted. These are glass eyes which are made to the same standard as normal human-sized glass eyes, but in the case of E.T. they're much, much bigger. This is a normal human eye, and this is the size of one of E.T.'s eyes. As you can see, there's quite a difference. Up until this point, the head and the body are separate elements, but now the head's completed, these parts are brought together and assembled. We have a bike that's been donated by Universal Studios to match the bike from the movie, and we've also managed to source a milk crate to match the crate in the movie. So at this stage E.T. will be assembled inside the crate, which will be mounted on the bike and covered in the blanket in the same way you see in the film. At this stage we photograph the figure for our own records, which allows us to keep an accurate document of how the figure appeared at the point of completion. This helps us to maintain the figure for future use. Another challenge that we faced with this project was the fact that it's a global figure launch which needs to coincide with the 30th anniversary of the movie E.T. This means we're making multiple figures which are going to be installed in attractions all around the world. Of course all the figures need to be made to the same high standard, but have to leave the building at different times in order to reach their destinations.
For the first time ever on Blu-ray,
E.T. Phone Home.
Own Steven Spielberg's E.T. 30th Anniversary Edition.